Yeah.
I wonder if anybody can read lips. Yeah, no, maybe. I wonder if anybody can read lips. All right, I'll put that down. Good evening. It's been, geez, I think it was March. Last we were on, we've been a little busy. I was under the weather a little bit, and we've been busy with our new truck. Anybody that's interested, it's out of the manufacturer's facility and on to getting the tools mounted. And we hope to see it here beginning of August. Hopefully, right in the beginning, we can get it here and get it in service. So that's that with the truck. We were very happy with it when we made the last meeting out there. A couple little minor things that needed done. But beyond that, the truck's ready to go, and it'll be here shortly in town, and we'll get it moving. And I don't know if anybody saw our old 94 LaFrance went off to New Florence. And I think they have it in service at this point. I think it's close. They did a couple things to it and got it the way they wanted it. So that's the news on the truck. Last time we talked about let's get that part right. And I think a lot of it was about water supply and a couple other just fundamental 101 things, and we still gotta work at that. It's still happening if you listen to any the local calls or anything. These things are still happening. You can't just, I don't know, they're afraid of the hydrants or what, but
They're scary.
They're scary. It doesn't hurt to lay a little hose on the ground. We'll help you pick it up, or somebody help you pick it up. But one of the things today, the new stuff, I mean, there's been a lot going on in the area. Everybody knows in our area, and I'm sure even other areas beyond our borders, our county, our state, the paid crews in the stations, in the departments, of course, two neighboring townships now with one Unity just started the other day. I believe it was Monday.
Yeah.
And I haven't really talked to anybody of how it's going good or not. I'm sure it can't be going bad. It's not a bad thing, and it's probably where we're all headed. And of course, our regular one, Southwest Youngwood, they're still doing their thing. And Hempfield's got crews on here now at, if I'm not mistaken, it's Station 500 and then Station 501 out on the north end of the township. So they're able to crew a truck during the day. I don't know the extent of the crews. I did see Lloydsville had a post up in Unity that they had 3 guys on that particular day. And Crabtree today, I think. I said seeing Crabtree on there. So that's not a bad thing. It's certainly something we've discussed here. And it's one of those things where, of course, you have your own fire district, your own little kingdom, we always call it. And now you got an engine with a couple guys on it coming over, kind of intruding in your area. And how does that make you feel? I don't know. I don't know how it makes you feel, but I wouldn't think it's a horrible thing.
You can only feel good about it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, your ego getting that way, I'm just happy that people that call 911 are getting the help they need, right?
Well, right. I mean, you're getting a fire truck there or whatever you need. And that's what's important, of course. Of course, we all take a little hurt to the fact that we're struggling and, you can't answer alarms 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Some departments, some companies can't. And that's the answer right now, right? I mean, get a couple guys there and then the other people will follow in. And if you choose not to go because those people are there, then you have the problem.
Right.
I mean, if I'll just use it as an example because it's engine 500. It's the one that's, if they're going over to West Point or something for an alarm or a fire or something, and they're there and they get over there first or whatever and get to work, why be mad about it?
Yeah.
certainly, anybody that needs the help isn't going to be mad about it. They, whoever called 911 doesn't care what color your truck is or who gets off of it, as long as you have an idea of what you're doing, or you pretend well that you know what you're doing. I wouldn't think that that would be a problem. So I hope that that's not happening. And like I said, at some point, our borough will get to it, and of course, we keep talking about what's the next step. Where are we going next? Are we consolidating down stations? It's going to happen.
Consolidation and paid staffing.
Well, it's all going to happen. It's all going to happen everywhere. And
there's a lot of good departments out there that you wouldn't think run a contingency of fire volunteers still. I mean, there's
no
career departments in Pennsylvania you wouldn't think have a volunteer contingency, and they do. And it's volunteers ain't going nowhere, but you surely need the help.
It's getting
right?
smaller, right? And we need to get everything under so many roofs instead of 900 roofs. We need to cut it to 450.
And then the people that are in love with it, right? In love with firefighting. I'm a young guy, 40, and it's that's insane, right? And that's part of it too, though, right? It's aging force, and maybe you could attract a younger kid in, leaving a little money in front of them. Surely not. Well, I came into the fire service. Heck, when I came in, we had to pay to be a volunteer fireman.
Yeah, application fee, yearly dues, and everything.
You had to give them money every year just to volunteer, and then now it's that's not the case. I'm not saying the sense of community is lost on the younger generation. You just gotta. There's so many things you're out there competing against anymore, right?
Yeah, there's so many things, right? There's so many things to do, and
everything else, and there's a whole lot of things that I think have changed in the good in the fire service, but there's definitely some things that have changed in the bad in the fire service too, and the fact that at least I can speak for around here. This used to be the center of town, and it was if you weren't in the fire department, you knew your brother, your cousin, your uncle was in the fire department,
right? And
that's just the way it was. And
well, that goes along with the neighborhoods have changed. Certainly in South Greensburg, a lot of the industry has left. That fed South Greensburg, Southwest Greensburg, and just surrounding areas, even with homeowners,
right?
That were, and now, a lot of the things are, people move in and out a lot, out of town, in and out and whatnot. And that hurts. And even if you get them, they might not be here for more than a year or two.
Right. Yeah.
And whatnot. So that's a big difference in there. And, consolidate these departments, it's coming. We have to come to realize that it's going to happen.
There's no way around it.
We talk about it
on a regular. We talk.
Yeah, we talk about it, and we talk about it with our neighbors. And is it going to happen tomorrow? No. There's things have to be worked out and different type things, and we have to get to that point. We're getting there. I thank you. That's why I put them on, Jerry.
Exactly why
I said I put my glasses on to make me look smarter. Thank you. I appreciate that. But
nailed it.
We have to, we have to at least have the conversation and get it moving there. So that's of course we keep dwelling on that, but that's really what we have to concentrate on. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that we're not so proud that when the day comes or the time comes when we're going, oh, geez, we didn't answer 3 alarms this week. We have a real problem.
Right.
If it's 3 alarms in this borough, that's a real problem for our borough residents. Now, we don't have that problem currently, and we're grateful for that, believe me. But when it gets to that point, then it's, hey, now I need to either do something with who I'm calling here. Do we need more help than what we already have? We've made a change and cut it a little bit, but at the same time, it's larger than it should be because of the different times of day.
You don't know what you're getting, who you're getting.
Who's going where, who's doing what. You know, we have an idea around here because we're such a smaller department who's working when and who's not going to be available. And we communicate, you know, through our app thing, which is another thing I want to talk about. But we do well at that. You get a larger spread out department, people that don't want to communicate with each other. You know, this one don't like this one, so whatever, and you just, whatever comes. But I mean, just yesterday we had was that yesterday?
Yeah, car fire, yeah.
Yesterday we had a car fire on Parr Street. Couple companies, nice turnout, enough to handle a car fire at least. You know, there was some question on the way over there whether it was actually endangering the house or not, but and it could have been, you know, if it would have went longer. It certainly could have got that far. It got into some trees, but we were able to get, we had 3 engines and a aerial piece there. So we were fine with that. And we certainly appreciate those companies coming to help us every time. And you know who you can count on, and you know, sometimes that, you know, then there's extras that fill in there. But
And it was an outside stock company that came and did the
correct.
work.
Right. Yep.
You can't even be mad about that.
The young fellows from over here at Southwest, I mean, they got the line and got to work. And yeah, thanks.
Right.
That don't upset me one bit, believe me.
No.
But that's where we're headed. And we gotta work with our neighbors and rely on them sometimes. And you know, and like I've said this before, that you don't have to sit there and have dinner with the person every night and, you know, invite them over on Christmas Day, but at least do the right thing when it's time to get along, you know, the best we can. So something else, and we'll go back to some of that stuff, but this third-party app business is kind of becoming a thorn in our side. You know, no decision's been made on who's going to go with what, and I won't get into the politics of it, but it would have been nice, I thought, if at least the companies that worked closely with each other could have got kind of on the same page about it, and it seems like we're all headed in a different direction. And that's unfortunate. You know, I don't know that these third-party apps will share across the app, you know, who uses this and the other thing. And I thought at least a conversation should have been had about it.
On a county level, probably.
Well, yeah, I mean, and we got the explanation on that and why that's not going to happen. But, you know, even just, I mean, the problem is so if we say we neighbor this one and they neighbor, but then they neighbor this guy, then this guy neighbors this guy, then it is the whole county. It would have been great if we just said, hey, this is what the county we're going to go with and use it. And of course, everybody wouldn't have been happy.
Right.
Nobody's always going to be happy.
That's the crappy part about democracy versus not everybody's gonna be happy, but you hope that the majority. I mean, you aim for the majority.
You hope that it works, right?
Right, absolutely.
It works for everybody. Yeah, I'm aware of that, Dallin. And that was, I mean, you know, we reached out to them. And I reached out to some other local departments, and it went nowhere. So it is what it is. And at this point, we'll have to pick what's best for us, and
really what's affordable.
And what's right. It's not.
Jeez.
It's a lot of money.
I don't even know how some of these smaller departments are.
Well, if you just do the
basic one,
if you just do the app itself, like the reporting, right. It's not horrendous. But when you start, like, you know, and well, I'll just say it. I've been talking to Billy about it, and we're kind of on the same page about the whole matter, at least between us and Southwest. it's the other
The modules,
things that
yeah.
come along with it, the modules, right?
Yep.
But some of those you need. And some of them you already have purchased in another, like from another vendor.
Right.
So now you're just consolidating all these costs into one. And it is a sticker shock.
Yeah.
I won't get into what we have, but it's a sticker shock to us. But it's probably going to be a necessity.
Well, it is a necessity. I mean, it's
Well, at least the app, the app and the reporting
Right.
end of it is going to be a necessity.
But
And hopefully we'll get some guidance from up above on what they're going to do or what's going to happen there at some
Right.
point. We're making decisions as long as it's compatible with the reporting that they require,
right.
then it'll work.
Right.
And it doesn't seem like they're going to pick a vendor like we have now and just take care of that part. So it's just going to be on each department to do their thing. And I understand, not everybody wants to use the same thing. Everybody has different needs. But it's a shame that it just couldn't have been talked about more as one. And that's
Yeah, because the apps definitely aren't gonna, not at least not now. They're not talking. You get ABC app and
right.
app A does this and app A does B does this and C does that, and they can't talk to each other. And then all of a sudden you're going out to fill a transfer 3 municipalities over,
Right.
right?
It'd be nice to see what units en route and who's on that unit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can always make a plan then. Those guys are, we're good or whatever.
Right.
Or hey, give me another engine company or whatever we need.
You ride in the right seat and you see who's coming and go, well, they're going to be good to give me water, or they're not going to be good to give me water.
Yeah.
Things along those lines. I mean, let's just be real. What are the three things we're worried about at a fire, right? Your pumper, your first pumper, your water supply, and your truck.
In a truck.
I mean, after that, it's
Manpower.
manpower. Stop calling your trucks.
Your utility truck.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. One time.
Did it one time. 20 years, one time. But yeah, so that's another thing that that's plaguing us. And I think that part just goes to show that we're not ready to be one unit.
Yeah. I mean,
Something as simple as that, and like I said, no matter if it would have been hey, this is what we're going to do as a whole, and
we can't even. I mean,
in this area.
Yeah, you want to revert back even to the simplest of things. What's an engine? What's a squad? What's a rescue? And it's you can't even come to a consensus on something that's.
No, but this thing here,
Yeah.
we couldn't even sit down and talk about that. Then we're not ready to fix the problems that are ahead of us. And they keep changing daily. These problems. They're not getting any better. And that with now we'll go back to the alarm answering during the day. Okay, so a couple places got daytime cover. We have retirees, fortunate, can move the truck. Greensburg has a situation over where where they have all their guys with their daytime cruiser around. It's fortunate. Southwest, now the township, Unity Township, Hemphill Township, Unity Township. And there's others out there.
Oh, absolutely.
I've heard them. I've heard how they do it. I've talked to them about how they do it. And one of our things, and I said that I always thought it was a bad thing. I don't think it's a great thing. Okay. I'll agree to disagree on that, Dallin. I personally didn't like that one. Now, if you would have said, "Hey, you have to use this one," we would have figured it out, and
Right.
we'd have made it work for us. We did look at that active 911. I wasn't a big fan personally, but again, everybody's not going to agree, and I certainly wouldn't have just said, "Well, use bad language," and said, "We're not going to do that. You can't use bad language on here."
No. Good God.
Yeah, no more. But Right, and it had some benefits to it. You know, all the ones we looked at had different benefits and whatnot to it, and even the one that you all went with, it was very nice. It really was, but I was a little shocked at what it cost. Overly shocked. Matter of fact, it was about to put an AED on me. But well, alarm. So okay, so we saw some problem during the day. We saw a problem in the evening,
Nice.
and we saw a problem in the overnight.
Well, the overnight comes along with the everyday smells and bells, right?
Well, that can become an issue.
And the nuisance
And we've talked about that, how having a couple paid guys in the station could make that amplify that problem.
right.
You know, if we have a couple guys here, for us, I'm talking about for us personally, if we have a couple paid guys here, but everybody else, I'm not getting out of bed for that. Them guys are up there getting a few bucks. They can answer that.
Yeah.
Then they pull in there and there's fire blowing out a front window or entrapment or whatever it is, wreck or, depending on what it is. So what do we do then now? Do we just reactivate our alarm?
I think that's what you would have to do, right?
How annoying is that going to get up?
Yeah.
I mean, our dispatchers are doing enough now. You want to, hey, can you hit us out again because these clients, they don't want to get out of bed for automatic fire alarm.
Right. Yeah. And it's
And I do it, believe me. There'll be nights I'm laying there, I'm like, yeah, not happening.
well, it's I think people. I mean, I'm definitely right there with you with the smells and bells. I mean, I'm county prison. I ain't waking up.
That's a tough one, right?
Yeah. Especially if I go to work in the morning, I'm not waking up.
That's a tough one to get up for.
It's
But then there are certain places you go, well, don't come in very often, or sometimes we have stuff over there.
you revert back to it. An automatic fire alarm is that exactly. It's an automatic fire alarm. Something has caused that fire alarm to go off.
Right, whether it was a malfunction or,
It's
burnt food or whatever.
It's doing its job most of the time, and most of the time it is something burnt food. But smoke set it off.
Right, it's not a false alarm
Right,
per
yeah.
se. It's just
So it's doing its job. So I mean, you can even look back here. It's caught a couple people off guard. Cancel it. It happened here locally. I'm not going to say who, but even with the key holder saying, "Yeah, I was just there. Ain't nothing."
Yeah, nothing here. Proper passcode given.
And then you get a call from a neighbor reporting a working building fire.
Smoke on the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, like it happens. Yeah, and it's
Hey, I've started off on automatic fire alarms, no lights, nothing, just
Right.
I'm going to get a sandwich for lunch. If I make it there, I'll make it there. If not, now we got a problem.
Then we got some work. That was a lot of stairs.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff.
Too many times.
But so getting at that, with those answering, still the need is there for help. Now, certainly a 2-man engine
Can start.
can get there, get something going, but it's not to save all. We still need the other trucks to come, other people to come.
Right.
Especially summertime, geez, it gets hot. And, as great a shape as we're in, we get wore out too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm at the pinnacle of my health right now in my life. And, I can go by 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm done.
It's
But,
you start looking at it realistically. And well, I'm not even going off of the NFPA standard, right? Because that number is just obscene. What is needed for a basic dwelling fire?
12 people?
It's just like a lot more than that, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was 12.
But regardless, especially summer day, what are you looking at? Okay, we talking low budget, medium budget, high budget?
We just come off that heat wave and whatnot. But I just don't I can't figure out when it just, if you need the help, just ask for it. We got radios. You can call right to the people and say, hey, get me this and this. I know they have people there, or, they move, or whatever the reasoning is. Are we so egotistical and proud that we're not going to allow that to happen?
Oh, there it is. 13 for career within 10 minutes.
I thought it was around.
That's 5 minutes,
Right.
Colin, for urban areas.
Urban.
Come on,
Urban.
Colin, you know better.
Urban. But I knew it was around 12, 13 hours.
First
We had read that.
First ended 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, so you know, career volunteer, what's the difference? The house is still on fire.
Right.
And it's okay. So call it, then if that's 13 career, then it's 26 volunteers. Right? I mean,
No, it's still
depending.
It's 13 firemen, but when I say firemen, I'm talking about
depending, right?
capable firemen, right? There's a difference.
Well, of
Being a
course.
fire, you know, and everybody has their capabilities. I mean, I'm surely not I'm not no Dallin, you know what I mean? I don't have all that piss and vinegar left in my body, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think you can say that, brother.
Oh, you know what I'm saying.
But, right. And
Yeah, it's
in the volunteer service, we have different people to do different
Absolutely.
things, which we need.
100%, right?
You can't have this, you know, these guys going in. Now, we try to set it up similar. Hey, these are our engineers. It's always good when they're in that seat.
Right.
But, at night now, you know, and we haven't been on here since. I have not been kicked out of my house.
You did buy that property in Fort Allen.
Yeah, I did not buy property in Fort Allen. I have not been kicked out of my house. But most people know why. I've been staying at the fire station at night. You know, my wife's helping with my new grandson. His father's deployed, and you know, my daughter's going out alone, and she's young and in a new house in a different town. So my wife goes down there and helps her out. So, well, hell, I might as well stay here. You know, since me having to get out of bed, drive all the way over here when I could just stay here.
Yeah.
But I'm engineering a truck at night.
Yeah, you will.
I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. I actually like it. Jesus, I pumped the truck out of my first fire in a long, long time. I had to talk myself all the way through it.
I got a helmet cam if anybody wants to see you talking to himself the whole
I mean,
freaking
I'm
time.
talking to myself in the cab of the truck. I'm going,
You know, no one else in there but him.
just me. I'm laying in line, and I'm like, slow down, Mac. You're laying hose. Don't go flying up the street. And, you know, I got to put the truck in gear and do this, turn the generator on. And I went through the whole thing, and it worked out. At least I thought it did. Yeah.
Makes it more interesting, right?
Yeah, it makes it more interesting.
He's just so mad you beat him up.
Yeah. No, that's Billy.
Oh,
They can't. Them two can't he can't put a Y on there.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
built right.
Oh,
He's
okay.
built right, and they don't want to hear
they
nothing
don't want to
different
hear.
about it.
How are you supposed to even know? The little tiny picture.
Yeah.
Well, then your dad beat him up, and that's why.
That's right. Right. Yeah. Senior beat me up, and I lost, and it's all good.
One punch, he was down.
I was laying on the ground crying like a little girl, but it's okay. It happens sometimes. You know, the heat of the moment, he got a little excited, and I lost.
He was up there doing it.
Yeah. But another thing, you know, Keith, we have to keep on it is the recruiting and retention. And I seen a post going around today, and maybe I can pull it up real quick because I've seen it everywhere. Actually, you know what? Justin Shell had it on there because I was actually, well, maybe he didn't, but I was reading his comment on the one. Anyway, it said instead of talking about recruiting, you should talk about retention. Well, of course you do. You want to keep the people that you have, right? I mean, you know, and you always have a core group in each place, but something with the retention sometimes. And this is, you know, I don't know how everybody feels about it, but the fact of the matter is, whenever there's a change or you do something, whether it's you change a policy, you know, and hopefully we're not still doing it where I just say this is how it's going to be and that's that, because that's certainly not the case here. But when we do those change of policy or something, then somebody gets sore in the rear end, and then you don't see them. So how do you retain somebody like that?
You can't.
Right? Or you know, something happens in a meeting, or break it down. So something simple as this third party ad thing.
Right.
Do you two want this and I don't want it, but you two want it and you just do it, and then I'm not going to come around no more because it's something. And a lot of times it's something very simple.
Well, and so that's part of it too, right? Even if I hope no one will leave their department over not being picked. But
No, I would not either.
But a policy change, say, and maybe one person feels like they're singled out because of it, even though that's not the case most of the time.
No,
but so you change a policy or something, and somebody doesn't agree with it, right? And then I'm taking my ball and going.
If you're making policy, it doesn't matter where, business, wherever, but we're talking about the fire service. If you're making policy in your department, I hope that there's a group of people coming up with that policy, and you bring it to your department as a whole in a meeting and discuss it with them. Here's why we're doing this. And whether you're a small department like us, where you just maybe sometimes get a couple chiefs and a couple members together and say, we have this. When we're talking about this app, I made a little committee. A couple guys with me, and we discussed it, and we're going to bring it to the body and make a decision. But when you're doing that, I hope you include a couple people from each end of things. And of course, not everybody's going to like what you do every single time.
But it goes back to so I kind of have I think maybe I have a little bit of a bad way to look at it. But if you're going to get agitated with something as simple as that, and when I say simple, I mean a lot of these policies are simple. I like having my beard. I keep it short, but I like having my beard. But if Matt come out tomorrow and said, "Hey, look, we don't want facial hair no more here," am I going to be agitated? Probably. Am I going to quit? No. I'm just going to shave my beard, and it's But there would be people that say, "Well,
let's get a little rougher."
Yeah, it is good. I got to get a haircut.
Let's get it cleaned up a little bit.
Top off there too a little bit, but still, that's a perfect policy thing where it would affect me. But I love this stuff too much. You know what I mean? I couldn't give it up.
No, just revert back to it's been a year now since we closed out over there, and people disappeared. Now, again, that disappearance didn't really affect the fire truck, which is what we're here for. It's the only thing we're here for. I don't care what anybody says. This fire station is here for one reason.
Right.
When there's an emergency, we're to respond.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of things that come out, and you don't have to have that, especially with here. And I love it too. I drive around, I'll see people sitting out front of their firehouse pad sit. We call it pad sit.
That's what it was.
That's what it is. But I've heard it sit riding the pine. You got the pine bench out front, whatever it is, sitting around BSing about fires that happened 10, 20, 30 years ago, and for me, that's what I remember as a kid growing up.
Right,
was what you did. You know what I mean? And but that goes back to the camaraderie comes along with that, right? Because then it's no longer the fire I was at; it's the fire we were at.
I mean, something simple Friday, we're going to cook burgers and hot dogs out front. We're not going to get crazy about it. We're just going to do it. We get the kids down to the firehouse. The wives come down to the firehouse. Whoever chooses to show up, great for them. Whoever has some bad attitude about it or, don't, then don't. But so when we're doing that retention, how do you retain people that every time you turn around and you say, well, this is what we, not just we discussed, and whether it was something that we grabbed off a neighboring company we found out, or it's something that just got thought about, it's an old idea, whatever. If you can't get along with that, then maybe they're the problem.
Well, I think it's the cancer, right? It is. That is the problem. And then that's how people like to rule. Well, I'm taking my ball and going home. I'm a 60%er. I'm a 70%er. If you're gonna have an attitude, I don't care. It's just and then go to a department that'll. I don't want you to give it up and go to a department that maybe tolerate that a little bit more.
Right.
And it's one person is certainly not going to strong arm the bigger portion.
No, and you can't have that. Why would you have that? Why would you give in to one person? Or another thing, and I've seen it, and I see how it works. It eventually catches up with you when you you just like say somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I'd like to do this." I say, "Well, all right then." And then this other person comes and contradicts what that person. I say, "All right then." And then well, he said I could do this. Well, he said I could do this. Don't make it clear how we're going to do it and what we're going to do and how we stand on it. And I mean, this place is pretty free.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of like big rules in the firehouse, like for what you can do here. I mean, we sit here and eat, and we got a snack cupboard and do whatever, sit out in front of the station. There's not, but there are certain things that, we've changed and we do. And it took a little for some to understand. Some didn't like it, right? We got into arguments about it, changing policies certain ways. One of mine was the following, and popular or not, it's the way that we're doing it right now. And it wasn't decided just by me, but when the fire whistle blows here in the borough, it's something in the borough. If you got a couple guys, capable crew, get one in the first truck. Get it there. We have other trucks out there. We're short a pumper now, but we won't be. But we have the service truck, and so a lot of times the car's here now when I'm here, and just take one of them and then get the rest of the people there. But 2-3 guys can certainly get a line stretched, get things going on, whatever it is, get tools off the truck, whatever. Can certainly make something happen, and we're getting there quick.
Well, that's part of the game too, right? That's 75% of the battle.
We get a vehicle accident, male down on the road. There's 2 of us here. One's a medically trained. We're going, and then we'll see the rest of you. Yeah. When you get there, which is, I get it. You like to be on the first truck. Amanda. Okay, Amanda. Thank you.
Thanks for your continued support, Amanda.
Yeah. Oh, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
But that created a little bit of a riff here for a little while. And then when you explain yourself. This is why we're doing this.
Here's my justification.
Now certainly if it's in a neighboring place and there's trucks on the road, we can wait a minute for a couple more people and get a more solid bunch on the truck. But what happens here, and I watch it happen here. So we sit there, and then this one comes, he gets on, and another one pulls in, and we wait on him. Now it turns into 3 minutes or so, and holy, just down the road, especially in time. Or just right outside.
A little bit.
Yeah, right over the border.
But
those are the things that you always run into that one person or a couple seem to just get their ball and go home over simple things like that. And it's hard to deal with that because what's next? So you call them up and say, hey, this is why we're doing this. This is nothing against you. And you talk to them. Then a month from now, we're going to start doing this, or we're going to buy this and put it on. And this is how that's going to operate. And then it's the same old thing.
They're perpetually unhappy.
Yes. Right? Just unhappy with everything and anything that goes on in the firehouse. So I think that was one point that I wanted to get across about that post. You're right. We should do everything we can to retain who we already have. Everything possible. But at some point, there's a point where you throw your hands up in the air and say, I don't even know what else to do. And to just appease one person is not helping the problem out. Remember you said?
Why are you sad? You're always smiling.
You're always
smiling.
smiling.
That's what we've been talking about back here. I said, it ain't even a fire unless Bam's smiling, all right?
Yeah, nothing's even happening unless Bam's smiling at us. It makes everybody happy. But anyway, so the recruiting and the retention bit, we got to do better. We got to keep on that, keep looking for people, however we can do it. And frankly, this helping each other thing's got to get better. I know we've worked with some different companies, training and doing different things, and it's nice to see different companies working with different companies than they normally, out of their comfort zone a little bit. But and some of that's worked out well, and I hope it continues. And that's that. So I'm done. You good?
Good.
All right. That was episode 11. Maybe we'll get on a better thing here. I know this month's going to be tough. We got vacations going on and whatnot, but thanks for everybody that joined us, stuck with us tonight, and any input we got out there was greatly appreciated as always. If you need help, we're here, and if we need help, we will call. Certainly. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks.